What is government debt? And is it different from personal debt? We use the same word for both, debt, but there are some really big distinctions. Let's start by considering how governments and households are different. Governments are bodies that exist over a long time scale, much longer than a single human life. In other words, they have way more time to pay off debt than you do. That's a huge factor in how much debt one can take on. Then there's the ability to raise money. Household revenue is pretty static. You get a salary and it generally doesn't change much from year to year. Governments, on the other hand, have all sorts of revenue streams. The main one is usually various taxes. If they need to raise them to pay off debt, they can. National governments, like Canada's federal government, also have the ability to literally create more money via their central bank. Households can't do that. Then there's the question of scale. Governments are much bigger than households, and their financial heft allows them to borrow at rates far lower than you or I can. It's pretty easy to tell if your household debt load is sustainable, but the size and complexity of government can make it difficult to fully understand the implications of its financial decisions. It takes much longer to see how all the factors associated with government debt are going to play out. If I'm still paying off a debt in 3 years, that's a big impact on me, right? Like that's a couple $100 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if the government's still paying off a debt in 3 years, that's a footnote. For a household, the risk of taking on too much debt is bankruptcy, which can cause years of financial hardship. For a government, the risk of taking on too much debt is also very real, but it's very different. For instance, if the federal government needs to print more money to pay off its debts, that could lead to inflation. Or if any level of government goes into too much debt in the present, it could affect the quality of services for future generations. If interest rates were to rise in the future, that could also have really big consequences for government debt. Thanks for watching this episode of Nerds on Money. If you have any questions about finances or affordability, you can tweet me at @Eschner. If you enjoyed this video, hit like or subscribe, and if you want to see more helpful explainers, you can click anywhere around me. I'll see you next time.